Everyone knows it, but they know it their way. Hello, my name is Elsie. I'm the author and the founder of the Vision Production. And on this channel, I talk about cultures. Cultures from everything you can think about, how we talk, how we eat, how we walk, how we dress, everything. And since I'm a native of Zimbabwe, I talk a lot about the cultural differences that I have encountered myself, and also what I hear many people they talk about in their culture differences. So today I'm going to talk to you about the 10 cultural differences in America versus in Zimbabwe. So I'll be jumping back and forth, trying to put this comparison, things that already I know in Zimbabwe, they happen everywhere in the world. But when you visit another place or you live in another place, you expect things the same way that you think things should. Most of the time, you don't even think. You think things are just normal. Actually, you don't think. Let me put it that way. It's things that just hit you, and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? That's exactly what happens. So I'm going to talk about the 10 things that just suddenly I just found myself, I was in a different position with them. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is about food. Food is like one of the first things that you encounter as you are encountering or interacting with people, or you are in a place, or even sometimes if you are a person who is just taking a vacation. The first thing when you arrive there is, where can I go and eat? So food when I came here was extremely different. It's the same beef, it's the same chicken, it's the same veggie for the most part, but there was something very different about these things. We know a chicken the same way. You can be anywhere in the world. It's the same chicken. You look at it, it looks the same. It's beef from a cow. We know it's a cow. It looks the same, but the taste was very different. And I could never understand why. In Zimbabwe, our food has a lot of taste. We don't, for the most part, Zimbabweans, I think we are one of the nations who do not have a lot of seasonings. Maybe now people are adapting different things from, different places, and, they use the seasonings. But most times we don't have seasonings. But our food is very tasty. The seasoning that I can say we have, maybe it's tomato, onion, salt. That's about it, for the most part. And also this, I'm talking about people who live in the countryside. And if you lived in the city, this is not, it might not apply to you so much, because you were already interacting with a lot of people from different parts of the world. So maybe if you were a child who were born and grew up in the city, maybe you were already, you were introduced to a lot of things while you were still young. But I'm talking to people who have been in the country their life. And the number two is the people. The people that you know, the people that you live around with, the people that you interact with on a daily basis. I realize that you really don't know the people. You think you know them, but you don't. When I was growing up, people would come when there's a guest. I remember, when there's a guest, we used to live in this place that we call Guta. And of course, that is already also now completely out. People, they don't live like that. But we used to live like almost like you can call it maybe a compound, or families. There's an uncle there, there's an aunt, there's, all these people that live together in this one yard. And when a guest come, they would all bring food and people would eat. Now that is no longer in existence, because people have moved to different places, you still find people in the neighborhood, because our neighbor is a real neighbor. Our neighbor is more closer I would say in everything than in distance. The distance is far away. Our neighbors are maybe, I would say the closest, maybe you can say a quarter mile away, and then it goes to half a mile to a mile and so on. It's still our neighbors. They are still the neighbors because around a mile distance, you might have just about maybe four families. So that means that that's a lot of distance there that you cover to have a neighbor. And all those people, they are our neighbors. And I found out here, your neighbor is actually a few feet away, and maybe not even a feet. They are all just like this door, that door. And I realized you don't know your neighbor. You have to make extra effort to get to know a person who is just next to you, just like a few feet away. And that was like very shocking to me. And I believe some of you there, you know these things, and I think you get surprised. Another number 3, the culture shock I faced was actually English. English, I knew it. Not I knew it like I know it, because in Zimbabwe we learn English and we kind of put it on the side for the time when we need it again, that kind of thing, like now I need it again. You go and kind of like pull it and you bring it back to you and you try to fix things in your head and you try to speak English. So we don't know English like we talk English all the time. No, we don't do that. We talk in our language, but we learn English from first grade all the way to high school for those who went to high school. So that's a lot of learning, meaning the vocabulary. Also, we learn to speak, but we don't practice to speak. That's the issue. So I thought I knew English. But when I came to America, I realized there's a lot of differences in the same language that is English. I realized their English is like a little bit different. Even the spelling of different things is so different now. When I went home, my sister, I asked her because she's very good at grammar. And I asked her to edit my book. And I was used to talk the English here, writing the English in America. And she was having a hard time with my grammar because the English is different. So you have to almost like relearn different spellings, different, not everything, but there's a lot of different things that you're going to encounter if you know the British English or you know the American English. There's going to be completely two different things. Number 4 of the things that shocked me was feeding the baby in public. I remember I always have to remind you, I grew up in the country and feeding the baby in public is just as normal as eating. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's like the baby's eating now. So we breastfeed in public. It's the same as we sit down and we have our meal and we eat. Nobody feels anything about that. No one feels shame. No one feels like it's disrespectful. No one feels anything. There's no feelings about that. It's just feeding the baby. That's what it is. That's all. So that feeding the baby was like a big issue for people. So when I had my baby, it was difficult to actually adjust to this understanding that I have to cover all the time and feed my baby because I thought that was normal. Number 5 is pets. When I was at home in the country, I had a dog. I loved my dog. I used to want to take care of birds. I never managed to because I didn't know how to. So we have pets. People have pets, cats, dogs, everything. But we don't have the way of care that people have here. Actually, I don't think this is like what you can just call care. It's like a dog is placed in the almost in the same position as a human being. almost like the dog is, sometimes I even see like the dog is cared for more than a human being. I don't mean to say people who love their pets, they shouldn't love their pets, but I'm talking about the differences that I encountered, and I think a lot of people who are coming in America or they have lived in America for a while, they actually notice these two things that we actually don't have. Um, Now I see that people have a bakery for dogs. People have put there in a baby carriage. There's a baby carriage. There's almost everything that a baby, a human being baby has, a dog has. So it's not only because it's poverty. Why Africa, they are not doing that? Why, particularly in my country, we don't do that? I think it's because we place these things in different positions. Human is human, and a dog is a dog. That's pretty much it. And the animals are taken care right. They're taken care good. If you find an animal not being taken care good, it's because maybe the family is struggling and they might not have enough food for the dog, but it's not, doesn't mean that they don't love the dog. They actually love them and they take care of them. So for those who are able, you can see a lot of care in them, in what they eat and everything else. You find all those things. But we don't have the extremes like I'm talking about, the extremes where a dog is becoming like a human being. So it's just a shocking, you know. It's not like uh, anything is wrong with it, or you know, it's just, I was shocked. Okay. And the 60th thing is hair. In the country, we actually have sometimes beliefs that when a baby is born, the hair should be taken out. So you should actually, um, what you call, put a razor, you know, they like real shave it, you know, completely. The first hair should not stay. So it's like this belief, and that belief is pretty well known that when the baby is born, they take out the hair. When I came here, I thought I should do the same thing. I didn't know that it was actually almost like an offense to take, to shave the baby girl's hair. I didn't know that. And my in-laws were all over, you know, about, you know, I want to shave the baby's hair. Because here they believe that, maybe many countries actually, I can't just say America, I don't know about other countries, but I know that in the audience too, hair for a girl is so important. So they believe that actually the first hair, for the African Americans, black people, their hair is very curly and naturally very like hard. It's all coiled up inside. So when you let it, when the baby is born and you don't take it out, you don't shave it, actually you preserve the softness, the texture of the hair, not to be as hard like mine. Not to be as hard. So that way you can preserve. So hair is kept, and I was shocked to know that the baby's hair, you have to keep it. It was honestly something, you know, new to me. Number 7 is accumulation of things. What they call in America hoarding, or maybe it's a word that is used everywhere, hoarding. I never heard of the word hoarding. I did not know that people can have so much around them. If it is not grain, grain is one thing that I have seen in the country, people having so much of it that they have what we call like the storage areas. They are filled up of grain, and that's, the harvest was very good. That's about the thing that I knew is like you can transfer as hoarding, like a lot of things around. So I didn't know that people can have so much where when you get in their houses, sometimes you can't even see a way to where you are going to sit. My first experience was we went to one pastor, and we were led to the house, and I tell you, things were piled up from end to end. And there was this little, like a little path that you go through from the door to the living room. That living room was filled up, and they squeezed us somewhere there where the couch was open up, maybe two people can sit. And I was shocked. I didn't know there's that much material where people can actually have so much, and it's left over in a sense. Like it's all over. People don't know what to do with it. Okay. And they just keep it and just pile it. To us, things that you have, you use it. And if you are no longer using it, there's always somebody who could use it. So there was this, and I think it's still like that. There's still this thing of passing down, and somebody is still using it. And I saw that we recycle more than we actually accumulate. So even in plastic bags here, they're an issue. There is not such a big issue because we recycle that, we make fire out of that, we do different things with the plastic bags. So we don't see this like accumulation all around us or littering all around us because most things are recycled. Number 8 is dressing. Dressing, when I first came right at the airport, I was so shocked because I came from a place when a person is working in the office, you dress like most of the time, maybe a suit for ladies. For men, the same thing. A suit if you're in a bank, if you're in any kind of office, things like that. You're always like dressed. Even if they are uniform, they are like a dress type of a uniform. I didn't know anything about slacks, that someone can put on some slacks and do some kind of it's a shirt, it's a nice shirt, but it's not like fit dressy type of a shirt for ladies, and they can go in an office. I didn't know those things, and maybe now those things are happening too, but I'm talking about that time. I didn't know that these things can happen. Number 9, we are kind of rushing here with time. Number 9 is debt. uh, how quickly, how easily people accumulate debt, and how unaware most of the time people are, especially new people. If you come and you never was educated about how things run and how people do things here, you can very easily accumulate debt because they pretty much bring it in front of you. For example, they send credit cards to you and they tell you, you can have a credit card so you can use it, can be easier for you. But what they mean is that you can have a debt. That's what that means, literally. In a literal sense, it's you can start now to have a debt. And if you have a credit card, first of all, it's a few people that have a credit card and they pay their credit card everything within a month. Most of the time, they get a credit card because they are already short all the time with money. So they get a credit card to try and cover what they are short of. In this sense, that credit card is not the ideal thing. Where I come from, people use cash. And this is still fervently until today. People can go and get a loan. Very few people go and get a loan because it's so limited and few people can only do that. So when you see a person building a house, people driving a car, this and that, they bought it cash. That's the way they do it. It's a cash world. They don't have credit cards. Here you see a person driving a brand new car. They are doing this and that. They borrowed. They are in debt. And that's very, very different. Last, like I said, these things were not in order. Maybe this should have been in between, should have been somewhere. I don't know. But This is last, the sports that people play here. You know, I wasn't familiar of their football. When I heard about football, I was thinking of foot, the leg, where you play the football. So when I heard football and it's something that people they throw, it was like, oh, football and you throw? It was shocking to me. I didn't know anything. Of course, they have soccer here. It's not widely played, but there is soccer teams and people they play soccer, and you can always watch it also on TV. Your children can participate in soccer games, but it's not a widely known game. The nation knows football is a widely known game, and the other different you know games that they have this sport. And I think this is what I have for you today. And I almost forget, if you are new here, please subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can be notified when I bring another video. I bring the video weekly, and you can be quickly notified. Please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming back. Bye.